Hi everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com and I'm back with another astrological update. Most of you probably know we have a full moon lunar eclipse on Friday, January the 10th at 20 degrees of Cancer. Now, Cancer's ruling planet is the moon. So the moon is at home in the sign of Cancer. In fact, it's at its most powerful in the sign of Cancer because it's natural to it. It's natal to it. We have a lunar eclipse, although not considered to be one of the strongest eclipses. I consider all eclipses to shake up the energy, and especially in the sign of Cancer with that full moon. What is Cancer? Cancer is all things maternal, receptive, emotional, intuitive, moody, energetically creative, and it is also those things that are hidden, the undercurrent of hidden energy that is around us, but hidden in plain sight. Where have we heard those words before? All of this energy is crossing over the nodal points. So it's going to start illuminating what is hidden. What is hidden? What don't you want people to know? What don't you want to talk about? What on an emotional level do you need to release full moon to move forward in your life? What? So look in your chart and find out where Cancer is placed. Is it in your first house? Is it in your seventh house? Is it in your ninth house, your fourth house, your 11th house, your 12th house? Where? You've got to know your sun, moon, and rising. And from there, you can find out where the particular full and new moons apply in your chart by following the wheel. Okay, so we have Cancer. Now, Cancer full moon is a good time for releasing emotions that are no longer needed. But because of the lunar eclipse, it's going to make people so much more intuitive, so much more psychic. Cancer is one of the most psychic signs when they can get out of their emotional way. Like all water signs, they're very sensitive and they tend to have a push-pull energy with everything that goes on around them, especially when it affects them on an emotional level. So with Cancer and the full moon in Cancer with the lunar eclipse, we are going to find out what triggers us emotionally. Be prepared for that within the family unit, especially if you have people that are Cancers and Cancer risings, Cancer moons. Cancer moon people, you people are going to be hit. It's the Cancer sun, moon, and rising, Venus in Cancer by degree. Remember, it's at 20 degrees of Cancer. We have that full moon lunar eclipse going over the nodal axis. So that is going to trigger a lot of things at the moment. A lot of energies that have been hidden, unspoken about, unseen, yet clearly there, are going to be very clearly brought forward. So be prepared. And remember, that energy of Cancer, I like to describe it in one way. It's very push-pull. It's energetically, I love you, I hate you, I need to retreat, I need to come forward. It's very much like this. It flows back and forth like this in such a way that it can be dramatic and yet silent at the same time. So aside from that, we have Mercury and Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. We have a lot of planets in Capricorn. We have Mercury, Jupiter, we have Pluto and Saturn, and we have Ceres, and we have Chiron squaring it from Aries, all right? But that will come into effect later on in the year, over the summer and onward when we have Mars going retrograde. Then that's going to be some shit that happens. But I'm not talking about that now. This week sets the precedent up for the rest of the year, all right? We're going to see the energy be aligned. Now, when I was talking to people, other astrologers, about Jupiter and Capricorn, there's a strong census. Jupiter is lucky. Every time Jupiter is in a sign, especially when it's in Sagittarius, its natural position, it's very lucky. Jupiter in Capricorn does the opposite. It makes you work. Nothing about Capricorn is lazy, and you will have to work for what you want. So there's no slacking off. It's not going to bestow luck. It's not unlucky, but it's not overly lucky. So you're going to have to work for what it is you want. We have Mercury and Jupiter conjunct in opposition to the full moon lunar eclipse. Oh my, how fun, how exciting. What does that mean? It means A lot of information is coming front and center to help people move forward on an emotional level. I also take that because Capricorn is collective and it's traditional. And to me, it's cultural, it's country, it's universal, and it's worldwide. It's the traditions we carry throughout the world. So traditional religion, traditional ways of banking, traditional ways of healthcare, all of these things are going to be re-examined with the start of this full moon lunar eclipse. There's no going back after this, okay? So we as a group of people are going to collectively change the way we agree to be enslaved on the planet. Yes, I use the word enslaved. Cancer is always emotionally enslaved to the ideology of something in their life. That's just been my experience with the Cancer energy. And having 4 planets in Cancer in my chart. Yeah, I said it. With this eclipse point going over every single one of them. Awesome. Anyway, Cancer is always emotionally enslaved, and as such, they are receptive to the energies around them. As a collective group of people, we are going to be reevaluating the way that we live on the planet. How do we live? How do we choose to live? Those emotional choices, which are brought front and center after this eclipse and carried throughout the year with the tremendous energy in Capricorn, are going to help us reshift how it is we view our lives and what we choose to allow in it. And I'm talking as a population of the earth. Forget the country you're in, forget the gender you are, forget whatever it is. I'm talking as human beings. That's actually what's happening. So the way that we see the world and the way that we live within the world and the context of it is changing during this full moon lunar eclipse. Now, as I said, Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct in opposition to the eclipse point, the nodes, all right? 2 days later, oh, I forgot to mention, we have Uranus, the erratic, eclectic, berserk, quirky, astrologically minded, alien, entertaining planet stationing direct. Now, I was talking to somebody this morning about this. When Uranus stations to go from retrograde to direct, stationary direct means it's going back into the degree, okay, where it went retrograde. And as it gets ready to progress forward, I find that there can be a lot of energies and a lot of mistakes made during that time that have consequences that are so bizarre. I was talking about people that overdosed, and I was talking about people that died, looking at the death charts. And I was saying a lot of times I found from especially the drug overdoses or those mistakes you can make, like where you're doing some shit like robbing a bank. Not that you should be doing that, but let's say you are doing that and you pull out a gun. Well, the guy in the store has a bigger gun than you and you end up dead randomly, weirdly. Not that you shouldn't, but during Uranus stationing to go direct is when I find that this energy is completely erratic, okay? So we have that erratic energy happening at the same time we have a lunar eclipse and a full moon, all right? So that means people are going to be very fucking weird during this time. That's the only way I can say it. Very weird. We also have 2 days later, we have Pluto and Saturn hitting the same point in an exact conjunction. 22 degrees of Capricorn. Exact. All right. We have Ceres in Capricorn. We also have squaring that Chiron in Aries. But again, we're not dealing with that till later on. So the cardinal signs are going to be particularly affected. That is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Rising, Sun, Moon, Venus. We have Uranus in an earth sign of Taurus getting ready to move forward. Taurus is a beast, all right? A stubborn beast. So Taurus, who likes their comfortable, happy coffee in the morning, chocolate at night, TV shows, I always say cashmere sweaters with Taurus, likes all of that stuff, is getting ready to go batshit crazy as Uranus takes a hold of it. Now, it's very good for inspired information, creative designs, all of those things that are very Uranian in nature, unique, electricity, electrical, creative, musical. And by musical, I mean things like bass playing, guitar playing, techno, all of those things. That's Uranus, but it's in Taurus. So it's about how our money system works as a collective group. Personally, I want you to look where Taurus is in your chart. What personal planet does it hit? If it hits one, what house is it located in? And what's transiting through that house at the same time by degree? So you've got to go through all of that. You got to know your chart to know where the planets are hitting, where they're progressing, where they're moving, etc. We have all of that energy going on. So we have that Uranian craziness going on in a trining aspect to the Capricorn throughout the year, okay, as it picks up speed and moves up in degree. And we have the Cancer full moon. Now, lunar eclipse. I keep saying that, but you know this. So in the Cancer full moon, we need to release the emotions that are no longer necessary for us. So you need to let go of them. How do you do that? You have to first be able to see it. So the lunar eclipse for the next 6 months, I know people work for like a week or two. I've actually seen eclipse points take a couple of years to get their momentum going. So the first part of the eclipse will open up this area of your life, which will lead to this area, which will lead to that area. So prepare for it. So this is about shadow work in the country, on the continent, in the planet, on the world, in the world, on the planet, however you want to word that. This is the shadow self coming forward. It's coming forward this year, so you guys be prepared. Are we all prepared for all of that to come out? Because what we are not doing that we hide needs to be revealed in order for us to move forward. And that's what this series of planetary action is opening up in a personal level and on a grander scale. Remember, what is hidden always comes to light and often has been in plain sight for a long time. We just haven't been able to emotionally handle it. That is being broken open, shattered, like punching the windows out and watching the glass spray everywhere. That is what's happening. Okay, I've given you this brief astrological update and I must run back to my clients. So once again, my name is Sloan from SloanBella.com. Happy eclipse and happy planets in Capricorn for the next year. Peace out.